Greetings, Manchester City fans. If you're here, it's because you want to stay up to date with everything happening with our beloved club, and I'm here to ensure you don't miss any updates. Before we begin, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This way you'll always be updated on the city, without missing any detail. Let's get straight to the point. Manchester City is preparing to strengthen their squad even further, and to do so, the club is already active in the transfer market. Recently, news emerged that City is in competition with top Premier League clubs for a promising player. The 20-year-old defender from Lens, Khusanov, is on Pep Guardiola and his team's radar, but as you can imagine, the competition is fierce. Rivals Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle United, and Wolverhampton Wanderers are also eyeing this young talent. This shows how Khusanov has been standing out in recent seasons and how he's seen as a major prospect. With an impressive winning streak, including a recent victory over West Ham United, City remains focused on addressing their squad needs. The race for the Premier League title and challenges in the Champions League lie ahead, and Guardiola's team knows that to stay on top, they must secure strategic reinforcements. However, it won't be an easy task, as other clubs interested in Khusanov are also keeping a close eye on securing the defender's signature. Leading the negotiations at City is Siki Berain, who is overseeing recruitment until the end of this season, when he will be replaced by Hugo Viana, the new director of football. The goal is to close the deal before February 3rd, which is the deadline for the transfer window. Lens, in turn, is willing to negotiate, and the asking price for Khusanov is around $2 million, making the player an interesting and relatively affordable option for City, not to mention the attractive salary the young defender receives, around $2,500 per week, which certainly catches the attention of several Premier League clubs, especially considering Khusanov's quality. By the way, this contractual situation makes Khusanov even more attractive, as Lens seems willing to listen to offers, especially given the growing interest from heavyweight clubs like City. It's no wonder that several Premier League teams, such as West Ham, Brighton, Brentford, Chelsea, and Crystal Palace, are also closely monitoring the situation. The race promises to be tight, but who will end up with the young centre-back in the end? Will Manchester City manage to secure Khusanov to further strengthen their defense? Now just imagine, Pep Guardiola, with his strategic vision, knows that City needs to keep strengthening. If the club manages to attract Khusanov, they would gain an excellent option for the defensive department. However, as we mentioned, the competition is tough. Postecoglou from Tottenham has his eye on Khusanov, as do Eddie Howe from Newcastle and Vitor Pereira from Wolverhampton. These managers are well aware of the defender's great potential and want to bring him to their teams. The competition will be intense, with City trying to get ahead in the race. Who will come out on top? Let's keep an eye on it. And you, City fan, what do you think of Khusanov? Do you think he would be a good addition to the team? And considering the $2 million price tag, do you think he's worth it? Share your opinion in the comments below, as we're curious to know what you think. Let's see what the future holds for this promising defender and whether Manchester City will come out on top in this tight race. Now, while City continues to try and seal this deal, another name on Guardiola's radar is Neo Savona, a 21-year-old right-back who could be the ideal replacement for Kyle Walker. Manchester City is eyeing the player, who has shown great potential in recent seasons and has been standing out in his current team. Savona is a name that, for many, is already on Guardiola's main targets list, especially after the recent game against West Ham, where City showcased both their attacking and defensive strength. With the search for a defensive reinforcement becoming more evident, Savona emerges as an excellent option. The young right-back has qualities that greatly appeal to Guardiola, such as the ability to play in various defensive positions, as well as his refined technique and ability to support the attack. The question is he ready for the demanding Premier League? According to sources, City is willing to pay a significant sum to secure the player, with rumors suggesting the transfer could reach around $52 million. If the deal goes through, Savona could join Manchester City's squad for a season full of challenges and triumphs. What do you think about this, City fan? Would Savona be the solution for City's right-back position? Does he have what it takes to replace an icon like Kyle Walker? Following Manchester City's movements in the transfer market, another deal that stands out is the possible arrival of Martin Zub, the talented midfielder who could be the ideal reinforcement for the team. City, aware of the importance of strengthening the midfield, especially after Rodri's prolonged absence, is focused on bringing in a player who can contribute both defensively and offensively. Recent reports indicate that Manchester City is willing to trigger Zub's release clause, which is valued at $52 million. This demonstrates the club's commitment to bringing in pieces that perfectly fit Pep Guardiola's strategy. Zub, who had previously been linked to Liverpool, is now emerging as a key target for the Catalan manager, following internal assessments that highlighted the potential impact of the player on his team. This move could have a significant impact, as City is always on the lookout for midfielders who can control the game, distribute accurate passes, and at the same time, offer defensive solidity. Martin Zub fits well into this profile, and his adaptation to Guardiola's style seems to be a matter of time. What's even more interesting is that Zub has an exceptional ability to adapt to different roles in midfield, a characteristic that Guardiola highly values. It's no surprise that City is preparing a serious bid to secure the player, who is regarded as one of the best young talents in Europe. In addition, the recent speculation about a potential deal for striker Omar Marmush from Eintracht Frankfurt adds more excitement to this transfer window. Marmush, who is also targeted by other Premier League clubs, could be a major addition to City's attacking department, which is seeking more depth to face the challenges of both the Premier League and the Champions League. City is said to have agreed to pay $50 million to secure his services, demonstrating the club's desire to strengthen decisively. City's attack is already potent, but with Marmush's addition, the team would gain more options to become even more unpredictable and lethal. Guardiola has always emphasized the importance of having versatile players in his squad, and Marmush is a forward who can play in various positions, making him a key piece in City's system. But, as always, the competition is strong, with other clubs also keeping an eye on the player. Will City manage to win this race and secure Marmush's signature? Let's wait and see. Meanwhile, City continues to monitor several defensive options, and the name of Enco Sayona from Juventus is also being speculated as a possible addition to the squad. Sauna, 21, is a defender who is impressed with his versatility. Although primarily a right-back, he can also play as a center-back, which adds value to his profile. Sauna's versatility is something that fits perfectly into Guardiola's philosophy, who loves players capable of covering multiple roles. Sauna has shown great quality, both in Serie A and the Champions League, and this has caught the attention of Guardiola and his coaching staff. Juventus, who have a contract with the player until 2029, could be challenged by an attractive offer from Manchester City. Kyle Walker's future, with interest from Saudi clubs, makes Sayona's potential arrival even more relevant. Should City manage to close the deal, Sayona could play in various positions in defense, providing City with a high-quality option to further strengthen their defensive line. Now, if you're wondering, does Sayona have the potential to stand out in the Premier League? The answer seems to be yes. While the young defender has much to learn, his adaptation to City's playing style would be facilitated under Pep Guardiola's guidance. The Premier League demands physical resilience but also great technical ability, and Sauna has already shown, both in Serie A and the Champions League, that he possesses these qualities. Manchester City undoubtedly has a golden opportunity to strengthen their defense with a young talent who could evolve rapidly under Guardiola's guidance. And speaking of young talents, we have Claudio Eri, a 19-year-old Argentine midfielder, who will be eligible to join Manchester City after the South American U20 Championship, which is scheduled to end in February. Eri, who was signed from River Plate last year, will continue his journey on loan to the Argentine club until 2024. However, Pep Guardiola is eager to integrate the young player into the first team as soon as possible, as he could add depth to City's attack, especially considering the injury concerns of some key players. Nicknamed the Little Devil, Eri is a talented player who gained attention early on at River Plate. He stood out in the youth divisions, being considered one of the greatest talents of his generation. His journey at River Plate was meteoric. After impressing in the youth ranks, Eri was quickly integrated into the first team and in 2023 was named captain of Argentina's U17 team, where he played a crucial role in the country's campaign at the U17 World Cup, scoring a hat-trick against Brazil in the quarterfinals. Although Argentina was eliminated by Germany in the semifinals, Eri's performance was enough to attract the attention of European clubs, including Manchester City. Erie's versatility is one of his main qualities. He can play in various positions in attack, but his most effective role is as an attacking midfielder, just behind the forward. His style of play is very similar to Julian Alvarez, a former City player, making him an excellent option for the team's future. With impressive ball control and rare agility, Erie excels in tight spaces, something Guardiola loves in his players. But is Erie ready for the Premier League? I believe he has a lot to offer, but his adaptation to English football will be gradual. The Premier League is one of the most challenging leagues in the world, and Guardiola knows this. However, Erie's experience and quality could shine over time, and under Guardiola's guidance, he certainly has the potential to become a star at Manchester City. And while Manchester City continues its search for promising young players, it is important to highlight that the future of the club is being carefully shaped by Pep Guardiola and his coaching staff. The work of the Spanish manager goes beyond games and tactics on the field. He is building a team that is not only strong in the present, but also has a solid foundation for the coming years. Guardiola has always shown a keen eye for young talents, and the recent inclusion of young players like Julian Alvarez and Rico Lewis in the first team are clear examples of this long-term vision. In addition, City's structure remains one of the biggest differentiators in modern football. The club heavily invests in infrastructure, support for promising young players, and a global scouting network that is constantly searching for players who can contribute to the style of play required by Guardiola. This makes Manchester City not just a powerhouse in the present, but also a talent creation and development machine, something many other clubs try to replicate, but few succeed. Turning back to transfer targets, the situation surrounding defender Abdur Khusanov from Lens deserves further attention. The 20-year-old Uzbek center-back has been one of the most talked-about names in the media due to his consistent performances and impressive defensive skills. The competition between Premier League clubs is fierce, with Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle United, and Wolverhampton Wanderers all looking to secure Khusanov's signature. Although City is clearly interested in Khusanov, it is important to note that Lens, the French club where the player is currently based, seems willing to negotiate. With a release clause of $2 million, Khusanov is a relatively affordable option for Premier League clubs. His wages are also another attraction, as he earns less than $2,500 a week, making his signing a great value for money. The fact that almost half of the Premier League is keeping an eye on the defender, including West Ham, Brighton, Chelsea, and Crystal Palace, shows that he is seen as an excellent market opportunity. However, Manchester City has a significant advantage: its ability to offer the player the chance to compete at the highest level, under Pep Guardiola's direction, at one of the most powerful clubs in Europe. Clearly, joining City would offer Khusanov the opportunity to develop in a highly competitive environment, alongside some of the world's best players, which could further accelerate his progress. Khusanov's potential signing would fit very well with Manchester City's ambitions to strengthen their defensive line. Pep Guardiola has made it clear that he is always looking to improve the quality and depth of his squad, and with Kyle Walker's future in doubt, adding a promising young defender like Khusanov would be a smart strategic move, not only as a replacement for Walker but also as a future prospect for the club's defense. Another important point for City is the continuation of their search for midfield reinforcements. As previously mentioned, the club is in negotiations to sign Martin Zub from Monaco, and the need for a quality addition in this area becomes even more urgent with Rodri's absence. City's midfield is the engine that drives their possession game and playing style, and adding Zub could be a key piece to keep the team competitive in both the Premier League and the Champions League. Zub would not only bring the necessary solidity to City's midfield, but also the dynamic playing style that Guardiola highly appreciates. His ability to recover balls and distribute quick passes aligns perfectly with the Catalan manager's philosophy. More than that, Zub has the ideal profile to integrate into a high-intensity midfield, something that has been a defining characteristic of Manchester City in recent years. He is the type of player who could further elevate the team's level and complement Rodri's presence when he returns, or even take the starting spot should the Spanish player's absence extend. And speaking of promising young players, Claudio Erie's rise cannot be underestimated. The talented 19-year-old Argentine midfielder is a name that promises to make headlines in the coming years. While he still needs time to adjust to the pace and intensity of the Premier League, his technical ability, game vision, and versatility are qualities that impress Pep Guardiola. Erie's versatility, as he can play in different offensive roles, is a characteristic that fits perfectly with City's requirements, allowing him to be utilized in various tactical formations as needed. Erie's participation in the South American U20 Championship in February will be a crucial opportunity for the player to showcase his potential in a high-level competition. After the tournament's conclusion, he will be ready to join Manchester City and is likely to be gradually integrated into the first team. Guardiola has been very cautious about introducing young players into the squad, but the expectation is that Erie will have an important role in the team, either as an immediate substitute or as a key player throughout the season. With players like Erie, Alvarez, and other young talents who are starting to shine under Guardiola's guidance, Manchester City's future looks even more promising. The club is not only dominating the Premier League today, but it is also building a solid foundation to ensure long-term success, always with the vision of creating a competitive team capable of dominating across multiple fronts. The focus on young talent is a strategy that has been working exceptionally well for City, and these players have the potential to become cornerstones of the team in the coming years. Now, returning to the transfer market, it is impossible not to mention the importance of maintaining squad competitiveness throughout the season. Manchester City knows that to win the Premier League, the Champions League, and other important competitions, it needs a cohesive and well-prepared team with options in every position. The January transfer window will be decisive for the club's plans, and it is very likely that more moves will take place before the final deadline. Moreover, the search for reinforcements during the January transfer window is a clear reflection of Manchester City's philosophy under Pep Guardiola. The club knows it cannot afford to rest on its laurels. Even with a talented squad, there is always room for improvement and adjustments, and Guardiola is a master at identifying where his team can evolve. Squad depth is essential, especially when City competes on multiple fronts such as the Premier League, the Champions League, and other high-level competitions. This became very clear last season when City faced a series of injuries that affected the team's performance at crucial moments. Guardiola has been cautious in managing his players, but he also understands that to remain competitive all the time, it is necessary to have quality alternatives in every position. Therefore, moves in the transfer market are not just about reinforcing weaker areas, but also ensuring that City has enough resources to face the season's challenges without compromising their performance. Returning to the targets that Manchester City is pursuing, Neo Saona, the young defender from Juventus, is another name that could become a key addition to the team. As mentioned, the young Italian has impressed Guardiola's coaching staff with his technical ability and adaptability to different defensive positions. Although his primary position is right back, Saona has shown that he can also perform effectively as a center back, something that could be crucial for City if the club needs a versatile defender who can cover multiple roles. With Kyle Walker's situation at the club still pending, Saona emerges as an excellent option. The 21-year-old defender has the ideal profile to play in Guardiola's style of football, which demands fast defenders, skilled ball players, and those capable of positioning well on the field. Juventus, although having Saona contracted until 2029, may be tempted to sell the young defender if Manchester City makes a significant offer. Additionally, the fact that Saona is a young and promising player makes him an excellent option for the future, which is essential for the club's long-term planning. If Manchester City manages to sign Saona, he would not only reinforce the team, but also become a key piece for the club's defensive future. City, already boasting a high-level defensive line, would gain even more depth and quality in their squad, which is necessary to maintain competitiveness across multiple fronts. Saona would be a long-term option for City, aligning with the club's strategy of investing in young talents with the potential to become great stars. Meanwhile, the transfer market is constantly moving, and Manchester City is keeping an eye on all opportunities. With a busy winter window ahead, the club is well positioned to continue strengthening their squad and increasing their chances of success in all competitions. Guardiola's leadership, combined with the club's ability to identify world-class talent, makes City one of the most feared clubs on the planet. Speaking of young talents, another name worth highlighting is Claudio Erie. The Argentine midfielder, who will be eligible to join Manchester City after the South American U20 Championship in February, is another example of the club's long-term vision. Iri has stood out for his versatility, technical ability, and potential to become one of the best players of his generation. His arrival at City will be an important moment, as he will have the opportunity to learn from one of the greatest managers in the world, Pep Guardiola. Although Iri still needs time to adjust to the Premier League style of play, his ability to perform in various positions on the field offers Manchester City valuable flexibility. Iri is capable of playing in attack, but his best performances come as an attacking midfielder, where he can dictate the tempo of the game and create chances for his teammates. This versatility makes him an important piece for City, which has a dynamic playing style that demands its players quickly adapt to different situations. Iri's journey is impressive, and his rise at River Plate is just the beginning of his promising career. He delivered an outstanding performance at the 2023 U17 World Cup, where he captained the Argentine national team and stood out with a hat-trick against Brazil. This type of performance in a high-level international competition reflects Iri's talent and maturity, something that Guardiola will certainly appreciate. The question now is how Iri will adapt to the high-level football of the Premier League. Although he is a player with immense potential, it is expected that he will be gradually integrated into Manchester City's first team. Guardiola, known for his patience with young players, will likely give Iri the time he needs to adjust to the demands of English football. With guidance from a manager like Guardiola, Iri is destined to become a key player for City in the coming years. Iri's integration into the first team will be an important step in the construction of Manchester City's future. The club has heavily invested in young talents, and Iri is another example of this long-term strategy. Guardiola's ability to develop young players is one of the reasons why City has become a powerhouse in modern football, and Iri will undoubtedly benefit from his guidance. With so many moves and new talents arriving at the club, Manchester City's season promises to be exciting. The future is bright for the citizens, who continue to dominate the global football scene while building an even stronger and more competitive team. The search for reinforcements, whether in defense, midfield, or attack, reflects the club's ambition to stay at the top and ensure their dominance is maintained for many years. And so, everyone, we have many moves and talents coming to further strengthen Manchester City. With Guardiola's team always evolving, it's exciting to see how the club is preparing for the upcoming challenges. And you, City fan, what do you think of these potential signings? Would Neo Seona and Claudio Iri be great reinforcements for the team? Leave your opinion in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to keep receiving the latest news on Manchester City. With every update, we'll bring you more exclusive information so you can stay on top of everything. A big hug, and see you in the next video.